Hey guys, it's Jacqueline, and I'm a Waxwinner speed build in The Sims 4. Today's video is an apartment renovation, and this is a renovation of 131221 Chic Street apartment, which, like, what a name. I don't really get why they would do the whole thing with, like, 131221, but whatever. This is Penny Pizzazz's apartment, and I haven't really built much here before because I don't do apartment renovations in general. I know among the people that do, like, a lot of apartment renovations, this is kind of, like, put on a pedestal as like the fantastic apartment, like everybody loves it, it's really great and whatever, and like I don't know, I feel like I like it. As far as apartments go, again, I always think that apartments in The Sims 4 would be so much better if we could just change the window placement, change like the doors and all of that stuff, but since we can't do that, I think like as far as apartments in The Sims 4 do go, it's a pretty nice apartment. And I kind of take issue with the window placement because the way they're placed, it sort of forces you, if you want to have windows in the bedrooms, to put the bedrooms like all in one specific spot. And then like I don't know, because I like to have windows in every room, right? So I kind of like always design my houses and floor plans around that. But you can't really pull that off in this one. So as you can see, there's like no windows in the kitchen or dining room area, but I tried to keep it relatively open. I know right now it's sort of closed off because there's that wall, but it gets better, I promise, because I opened up the wall and I put an island there, so that was fun. But I basically based the entire color scheme of this apartment around this parenthood tile that I put down in the kitchen. That was like the first thing I did because I knew that I wanted to use it. I don't think I've ever used this tile, like this specific colorway of the tile, and I use the tile in general very rarely too because it has a lot of like sort of out there colors, and that's nice and all, except that it's not really like my vibe that much. Like I generally keep walls pretty muted, and if I do colors it tends to be like in the objects and not the walls, if that makes sense. So I don't really use this tile that often. I use the other one from Parenthood all the time, but I just thought it would be fun to like go with the black and like sort of bluish beige whatever today, and that's what we did. And I think these counters actually work really nicely with it. I'm obsessed with the counters. Like I use them so often. I don't know why, they're just one of my favorite counters, and it's weird because they're base game, right? So like you don't see that often. You don't see an object that takes the cake as like your favorite object being in the base game. So I like the counters, and so I use those again, even if arguably they weren't the best for this color scheme, but like I think they work out nicely. So yeah, that's what happened there. And then the teens room, which is the last room that we do in this build, there's, by the way, there's only one bedroom here, so it's a small family apartment. You could probably fit like another, no, I don't think you could fit another bedroom with this floor plan, but you might be able to fit in like a toddler bed also in the teen room if you wanted to, but like I don't know, I think that it would be really small and like probably miserable to play in, but that's fine. You know, sometimes you gotta make that sacrifice so you can have your little baby toddlers. So basically the teens room is like pretty bright and colorful, so it's a very much a 180 from the rest of this apartment, and I almost went for like the darker color scheme in there as well, because I don't think this is like I feel like it's still pretty warm, you know, like it's not like you would step in here and be like, oh, love is lost, there's no brightness in the land, you know, like it's still a nice apartment, you know. So I think I could have pulled it off with that, but I decided to do brighter in there as well. And also for the love to knit objects, nifty knitting object, I'm just gonna call it love to knit, it doesn't really matter, does it? So for the love to knit objects, I used a lot of those in the teen room because I was kind of thinking like, okay, what personality trait can I give this teen? And I was like, you know, they're a knitter or crocheter, person that uses a lot of yarn, so they have not one but two yarn baskets and some other like embroidery objects and that stuff. So I decided to use a lot of the nifty knitting objects in there, and then I also used the love to knit couches in the living room. Thing with those though, I think the only part where having that pack is really essential to the build is in the teens room, although you could not have it. And then if you have tiny living, you don't really need love to knit because a lot of things are pretty replaceable from tiny living. Like I use the tiny living bed in the teens room, and then I use the tiny living I use the love to knit couches, but they're in a swatch and the shape of them is like exceedingly similar to a certain couch from tiny living as well. So like you could just use the tiny living stuff if you don't have love to knit and you feel desperately a need to download this apartment and you like want to have it look relatively similar. That would not be that hard. I think it was just the teen room wouldn't be very cluttered, and there would be like a few hanging plants missing and stuff. But yeah, overall, I just felt like I should mention that because I have sort of decided I don't really think it's like the greatest pack. I mean, it's a nice pack. Like as far as stuff packs go, if we had gotten that like years ago, I would be like, oh my god, love to knit, amazing. But like now, I feel like they've kind of set a standard for themselves and that it doesn't really live up to. But that's, you know, que sera, sera. So that's basically what I did for like the storylines of the family or whatever. And I didn't think that much into the parents because they're kind of, I don't know, bland in my mind, kind of average. Like, I think they just like work at a company or something, probably different companies because they're different people, but like I don't think they're like super high up, obviously, and like I don't know, I didn't put much thought into the parents, but I don't really think they do any careers that are like of interest necessarily. I kind of think they're like accountants or something. That's an insult to my mom. She's an accountant. So I was gonna say that in like oh, they're so bland, they're just accountants kind of way, but like, you know, accounting is kind of a bland career. I'm sorry, unless your passion is numbers, in which case I completely support you and your, you know, obsession with accounting. You do you, right? But so the parents don't have much personality in my mind, although I think this apartment is quite nice. I do. It's not like I was like, we'll give them a terrible apartment because they're like bland people. So there's that. And yeah, this is a pretty short video, so I don't have much like to discuss during the voiceover, but although it almost was like 20 minutes long because when I sped up the footage, I forget how long this took to record, like maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes, I don't know. But when I sped up the footage, I think it was like 19 minutes long, so that was unfortunate, but I edited it down because there were like so many pauses, okay, because I was watching Criminal Minds while I built this whole thing. And usually I'm like watching something while I build, so like that's not anything new or anything, but I was watching an episode where one of the like specific team members, no spoilers or anything, okay, so I spoiled the show for my friend, this is terrible, but I spoiled like the specific episode that I was watching for my friend completely accidentally, right, because she was sending me TikToks, right, and I wasn't answering them because I was building, but she was like, why aren't you answering me, and I was gonna be like, oh, because I'm building The Sims 4, you know, because that's lame, so I wasn't gonna be like, oh, I'm too busy building to answer you, you know, so I was like, sorry, I'm watching Criminal Minds, which, not a lie, because I was watching Criminal Minds, and then I was like, oh, it's the one where so-and-so gets kidnapped, to like, you know, add detail, like compel her and make her believe, like convince her that it was a reason, like a valid reason to not have responded to her, right? And she was like, I haven't watched that one yet. And the thing, like, usually I wouldn't say that, right? Like, usually I wouldn't be like, oh, it's the one where blank gets kidnapped. Because with a regular person, I wouldn't be like positive that they've watched it already, and like I, you know, wouldn't assume that they already know. But this girl, okay, she hasn't watched the entire show, which I just assumed she had, because she has like defined, since she started the show, which was, by the way, it was like 2 months ago, I don't know, but like since she started the show, she has like defined her entire personality around it. Like she writes fan fiction for it on Tumblr. She's like, you know, she's a Criminal Minds stan, okay? And so this is like, I was like, oh, you haven't watched it yet? Because I just assumed she would have watched it, right? Like, if, I don't know. It's just such an important thing to her, you know? So I was like, obviously she's watched the whole thing and I can mention this, right? But I spoiled it for her and I felt so bad because she, like, cares about the show, right? Like, she's invested in it. But I don't think it's that bad because I didn't tell her what happened, like, and it's not like, okay, the thing with Criminal Minds, if you haven't seen it already, and this is why, by the way, I brought it up, because usually, like I said, I watch it a lot while I'm building and stuff, but usually it's like some random that's getting kidnapped or tortured, or that sounds so insensitive of me, but they're not real people, right? But it's usually like someone I'm not that invested in that's like, you know, suffering, so I'm like, oh boy, I care if they like figure it out or not, but I don't like care that much, so I'll never like stop building just to watch it for a second, right? But this time it was a guy that I cared about that was like being tortured, and I was like, oh my god, this is terrible, I like have to, you know, I'm invested, so I have to stop watching it for a second, and then like I stopped the build for a second, but I didn't like stop recording, so I was like pausing the camera, right? But the point that I was making before is that it's not like a rare thing. Like every single character in the show at some point has something terrible happen to them, so like we knew it was coming, she knew it was coming, so I didn't really ruin it for her that much. Like, you know, yeah, she'll forget about it by the time she even gets to that episode anyway, so that's a fun story, right? But we've reached about the point in the voiceover where I would usually break into my like funny anecdote for the day, but I don't really have one because I'm pre-recording right now, sort of. By pre-recording, I mean I'm recording this on like August 3rd, and I think it's going up on August 6th or something. Yeah, it's going up on August 6th because tomorrow is the second part of the mansion thingy. So I don't really have anything to say, which is like, wow, this never happened. But I see, because like usually I have like something interesting has happened within the last 2 days because like, you know, that's life, but nothing interesting has happened because I recorded a voiceover yesterday, and then I recorded the voiceover the day before yesterday, and then I recorded a voiceover the day before yesterday. So I'm moving along here at like a steady pace of 1 video per day, which I think is good. That's solid work, because I'm trying to like get a bunch of videos done so I can have stuff going up during the first week of school, because I'm kind of scared that the first week of school is gonna kill me or something to that effect, and I just like, yeah, I think I'll be overloaded. Although the thing is I like to record voiceovers when I'm stressed, right? So like that might not go well because I need to record a voiceover, but I won't have any builds. So maybe I'll pre-record some builds, but I won't record the voiceovers for them, so they'll just be like sitting there ready for me to rant for a good half an hour, and then I can like finish editing it, upload it, send it off on its jolly way to be, you know, viewed in the universe, and that will be great. It'll be fantastic. Okay, so I have a plan, right? But I have like 14 days now, so exactly 2 weeks until school starts, and oh boy, this is stressful. So when that happens, I might go dark for a few days, and we'll see how that goes, because usually I've been pretty good recently about my like consistent uploading of the video every other day. And I know, by the way, people are saying by people I mean like, you know, my friends, so they're saying like you don't have to upload a video like every day, you know, like you don't have to do it every single day that you plan to do it. And I know, believe me, I do. I just like, it's kind of a coping mechanism for me, like making videos and stuff. It's how I deal with stress, I guess. And like, you know, also I love to play The Sims, so there's that concern too. It's not just like, oh, I won't have videos going up. It's like I won't be able to play this game that like is very important to me for like who knows how long, you know. So that is kind of an issue as well. So I'm just like a little apprehensive and scared about what will happen with all of that stuff. But that's basically my rant about pre-recording. Can I even call it pre-recording? I'm filming something like 4 days before it's gonna go up. It's not that deep. I don't know, because I know people that literally have their builds stocked up for like 2 weeks in advance, right? And so the videos that are going live on their channels are like have been filmed weeks and weeks ago, and that's not even like when they're on vacation or something. Like that's just their normal thing to do. So I'm not like that, so yikes. Anyway, my other thing to talk about is that I'm at my 100th build, and I don't know exactly which one it's gonna be, but I'm almost reached it, and I passed accidentally, I didn't even realize this was happening until after it happened, but I passed my 100th video on this channel, but it wasn't my 100th build. And I feel like since building is like my thing, you know, it'll be okay to like do something fancy for the 100th build and like kind of ignore the fact that the 100th video exists. Also, how embarrassing. 100 videos. Do you know how much time I must have spent playing The Sims and like editing stuff for me to have made 100 videos? What a mess. Anyway, so yeah, I have to figure out what I want to do for my 100th video, and that's kind of like stressing me out a little bit, because I don't want to do something like regular, you know, but also, do I really care enough? Like, it's just a number, so I don't know. I might do something fancy, and I might just pretend it doesn't exist, but like, I'm mentioning it here for funsies right now, because it's kind of like an interesting little like, oh wow, my 100th video, very cool, amazing. Ugh, yikes. So, you know, we're having a fun time. We're having a great time right now, and clearly I really just know exactly where I'm going in life, and like with this whole video thing and whatever. So I don't know, maybe I could do, oh, okay, so there's like a few really big builds that I've started recently, but I haven't finished any. Like, I haven't actually finished any of them. Like, I just build the exterior kind of, or like I'll do the landscaping, like up to the landscaping, or maybe up to the floor plan, and just kind of leave it for some reason. So maybe I could do a like finish my build thing. I don't know if anybody would want to do that. That would probably be stupid, right? I don't know. Just be like, oh wow, this empty shell. I love to finish these. Because I kind of hate shell challenges. I know some people think they're cool, but if it's like something where I've already designed it and like I've done the roofing and stuff, then it's not even a shell challenge, is it? It's just like a furnish this for me because I'm lazy. I don't know. But I know some people do it. I'm not calling you lazy, by the way, if you do that, because that's very chill and very cool. And like, congrats, you have people that like like to furnish your stuff. I don't know. So I could do that, or I could finish one of them and have a cool build go up and be like my 100th build video. Wow, also a concept. But we're pretty much at the end of the video once we finish this teenager. By the way, do you guys like the teenager's room? Because I think it might be my favorite room in the house. It's like so weird or different from the rest of the style, but I like it. So anyways, once we finish this teenager's room, we'll go on to the screenshots. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can leave a like and comment to let me know. Subscribe and click the bell for notifications if you want to see more videos and get notified every single time that I upload a video. And if you like this build and want to play in it, it will be up in the gallery. My origin ID is in the description, and I have time, so I'll go on my, oh wait, no, I don't have time, I'm sorry, just kidding. I was gonna explain how to download apartments, but I don't have time. So that is all. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.